to a show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. Had to pause for a minute because I forgot where I was, but now I found myself. So for this episode, look, I'm not even gonna lie. I was gonna try to lie, but I'm not going to. We recorded before. I messed up. I saved over the original, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest. That last episode, I don't know that we really talked a whole lot of jiu-jitsu. I think like I asked a jiu-jitsu question, he answered it, and I was like, yeah, fuck all that. And then we moved on. So anyhow, uh, my guest for this episode in redo, I guess, is going to be an Instagram mutual. Any memes that you see me posting, a lot of those memes are coming from this man here. Because I'm not original. So I go and steal his content and then, try to say, hey, look, I'm sharing. So back for the very first time to the Off the Mats podcast, I want to welcome David. Oh, your fucking last name. We talk all the time. But David from Instagram, David Hove.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That works. David Hove. Young in Spanish is the last name. My dad pronounced it as Joven growing up, depending on who you ask in the family. So I just say Joven because, we're trying to sound more American.
Hey, I understand. Look, man, I'll be honest. Whenever I would refer to you initially, like I'm talking to my wife because we'll have like good conversations back and forth, and then I'll say, "Yeah, I'm talking to this dude on Instagram. He's real fucking cool." Okay, well, what's his name? I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Like, and I never thought to like go look at your profile and like get you. It was like, I don't know. I think it's Joe, the Hope Joe, and she was like, in that show, she was like, you should probably just go learn his name. So I was like, oh, it's David. It's David. So probably for about 3 months, I just said like, yeah, the one dude from Instagram. I don't really know who he is, but we talk like all the time. It was like, yeah, learn his name. So now around my home, you are referred to as David. So,
oh man,
yeah,
that's awesome to know. I'm known as David, artist formerly known as. Let's see, how do I say it? Hove Kage.
Hey, I mean, you've upgraded in this household. So, so for this episode, as most episodes, people on the first time, I want to know their jiu-jitsu origin. So, that's what we're doing here. The last time we talked a lot of comics, and I'm going to try to do my best not to reference comics, but it's going to happen. As I already said, I need to know your origin. So, and this is your first appearance. So, for you, David, uh, what got you into the game?
I want to say about when my son was, how old is he now? Probably about 7 years old, turning 8. He was at one of those gymnastic schools that were just mainly like they just watch your kid. They don't even really teach them any gymnastics. And we were there with or some of our friends that I grew up with had their kids in it as well, and they told my wife that they were going to take their kids there. So like, cool, we'll bring my son and we'll see if he likes it. So he tried it out, cried on the mats, made him finish the class, said he wanted to do it. So he continued to do it. And eventually I started. I guess he started in the summer. The following Father's Day, I was given a gi and membership for the rest of the year for that year. So I guess that's like 2018. I showed up to about 2 classes that rest of the year. Father's Day to then, that's about half a year. I went to 2 classes, and I thought I was going to be that guy that didn't quit, that did quit. And then Christmas, I got my wife paid for another full year of jiu-jitsu.
Just trying to send you a strong message.
Trying to send that message, and I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get my ass beat some more. So I showed up. I got my ass beat again. Was probably consistent about 2-3 weeks, and quit again. Did a tournament in April without any training. Got to the final and almost threw up because don't train. And then what's it called? Then after that, I started just showing up to the what my professor would call the pussy classes, because it's pretty much just the parents trying to learn what their kids are doing, and there's almost zero sparring ever, zero rolls. And want to say about September of 2019, my kid was like, "There's a tournament on my birthday," and I think he's turning like that's 2019, so he's turning 9. He said he wanted the whole family to compete. So that's at the time I don't think my youngest was training. So excuse me, my wife, myself, his older sister, and him all competed on his birthday in December. So September I started taking it more seriously. Got to the final on that one. I was like, shit, I can do this. I should have won that match. I didn't get my side control points. Had my side control points, I would have won. And then COVID happened, so we trained in on Zoom calls and just at home with my wife, and then kind of rolling around with my kids. But I mean, dude's 9 years old, really small. The other one's 11, so that's not much. And so when we got back, I want to say we started sneaking into the gym. Like professor would leave the lights off. We locked the doors. I want to say that summer, because everything was. This is California. Everything was still
Oh yeah.
shut down, locked down. Even when things open, we have to social distance and everything. So we just had the building locked down. We were rolling in the dark. Music was really low, if there was any music at all. And we're just sneaking in and rolling and getting some training in. And then eventually, and then I made myself say, "Hey, I think I could get my blue belt this year." And before my birthday, that did not happen, but I did get it 2 months later. My birthday was in October. I got it in December. Uh, about a week or two after I tore two, three ligaments in my wrist.
Good.
But that's
Damn.
that's the origin of the story. And then I'd be sitting there in the parent room or the watching viewing room, and my professor would hold up like would be like the dynasty sign if you're like familiar with Jay-Z, but flip it upside down and put it right around his crotch and be like, "You're a pussy," because I would never train, or he stop being a bitch. Because that's the type of professor my coach is. He's a he's a hard ass. He's an OG. He's gonna tell you how it is. I don't know if you've ever followed him or seen his stories. I know I've sent you a few, and you know how he talks.
I'm too aware.
Yeah. So that's how I got into jujitsu, and now I am the mid belt, just waiting to having fun, learning how to mess up my back more and pull guard and be late to class.
Well, look, man, if your back ain't hurting, are you really doing jujitsu? So,
Apparently not.
yeah. What I tried to take my sock off the other day, and there was a pain that should not have been there. I was like, okay, all right. Well played. So,
I think the
um,
funniest thing for me is when I like try to put on the socket. Like we like when we're on the mats, we can bend all kinds of ways and reach.
mhm.
Like I can flex and I can actually touch my toes, but I try to put my socks on during like a normal part of the day, and I almost have to lay down on the bed to do that shit, so I can get my knee
Yeah,
high up enough to bring my foot close enough to get my tube socks on.
yeah. I don't know what that is about because the same thing is like, well, I always joke about this when it comes to inverting. I'm like, if you tell me, hey, we're gonna drill like just berimbolos, that's what we're drilling today. We're just gonna go ahead and do that. Thinking about it, I can't do it. But if I'm in the middle of a roll, oh yeah, no problem. It's kind of like the unconscious, just okay, it happens, and it's similar to again putting on your socks at home. It's like, oh shit, like that, like why is my like I can't even bend that way. But then you go on the mat and it's like, all right, why like you all. types of contorted and fucking bent up and broken. And it's like, huh, that's weird. And then you just, hop off the mat. Okay, like, okay, then go get a drink of water, come back and roll some more. But meanwhile, you throw your back out, putting your sock on. It's like, huh, I'm gonna go to
It's
practice though.
yeah, it's funny right now because like I'll train, I'll get my rash guard on, but my shoulder's so busted up right now that when I get home, I gotta ask my son to help me get my rash guard off. I look like a football player having some like one an assistant take the shoulder pads off because I can't get my rash guard off on my own right now.
Yeah. I actually come to the basement because I'm gonna throw my clothes in the wash anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
and I use the treadmill. Like there's an arm on the treadmill, and I kind of use that to wedge everything. It's a fucking spectacle. I might have to make a video one day of me coming home and getting out of, because I wear a lot of different things underneath just because of my stomach. So I have
yeah.
like braces and everything on, like t-shirt underneath, and then the rash guard, and it's like trying to get out of all that, and I'm sweaty. I'm just like, this shit's not working. All right, what can I rig here? Because my daughter, she'll just look at me like, dude, like, what the fuck? My wife, she's like, I don't want to touch any of that. Like, that's gross. So I just come to the basement and kind of use the equipment down here. I got an elliptical, like the arm on that. Sometimes I use that to get the thing up, because in my left shoulder, I don't know what the fuck happened there. And I wasn't at jiu-jitsu. I didn't hurt at jiu-jitsu. I just at home one day went to fucking turn or grab something, and it was like, huh, no pop, no nothing. It was just like, huh, that hurts. All right. Looks like this is our life. This is our new reality.
Welcome to having a jujitsu body and also not being young.
True. True. And it sucks because I try to talk my friends into doing it. Meanwhile, they see me limping around and I can't even fucking do like simple like movements. But it's hard to explain to them. It's like, no, no, no. Trust me. If you see me on the mat, like, it's a whole different game. And it was like, okay, sure. Yeah. We believe you, but we don't. It was like, okay, fuck y'all. I can
That's
kill
what
you.
that fight to win really helped because now like a lot of the people that I either work with or family members that know I do jujitsu, but never seen me do jujitsu, and they see me like, oh, you're lazy and old, or you're whatever, or that's no, that sounds bad. You're always talking about something hurting, and then they saw me moving on there, and then it was a completely different like a mind fuck to them because I didn't know you can move like that. And so, yeah.
That's what they always say. It's like, huh, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Recognize.
oh, he might mess me up. Yeah. That's why I
Now,
invite you to the mats because, like, I actually want to mess you up, kind of.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, this is trying to get people in my neighborhood just to try to establish dominance. It's like, let y'all know this is my neighborhood. Except for actually one of my teammates who has been with my ass since day one, lives one court over. So, he's not invited to the neighborhood tournament, or he
Yeah.
has to do one over in his own little corner. Hey, don't embarrass me in front of my neighbors. Like, you go whip your, well, actually, there's a dude that boxes over in his court. So I don't want to fuck with his court. His court's a little wild. They got like fucking gorilla grapplers over there and fucking boxers and just, I think, cyclists. Not that I'm worried about them, but you know, but either way, um, yeah, watching your fight to win match, it was a fun match to watch. I don't like, I can't explain it, but I don't know. I was like excited to watch it. It's like, it got me motivated. I was like, shit, I want to go train right now after watching it.
It made me want to compete more, and then also, like go a bit harder in the gym, and then my ibuprofen wore off, and I realized, oh yeah, I was injured going into that, and I'm still injured now. So I'm
And
still training every day, but it just like I can't lift, so it sucks.
and then you take that like on like super short notice too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he probably had just about as much notice as me though, but I think I kind of prefer that. I prefer that because then it's like um coach can't really be like, "Oh, you got a competition or you're competing coming up, right?" Here, let's run you through the ringer and get you ready.
Eh, well, sometimes I think that is best for a lot of folks, though. It's just kind of like spring it on me instead of like, yeah, you don't have that heavy prep that coach is going to throw your way, but also you don't. At least for me, it's kind of like the lead up, like overthinking it, the jitters that come with it. Is like, oh,
Yeah,
you're competing tomorrow. Huh, okay,
yeah. So the good thing for me is like the class that I mainly attend is our competition class, and so even though I rarely compete, I'm always in there with the bangers competing with them. So anytime
mm,
they're getting ready for something, I got to go through it too. And I'm the coach's uke. So everything that they're going to learn or going to be drilling, it's getting done to me first. And because of that, I'm the one that's helping out and kind of help explaining to them if say like we have white belts or some blue belts that might not understand it. I'm stuck giving them extra reps as opposed to me getting my reps in because they need more help.
of course.
Especially
When
my pet white belt. That's a true one. They really exist. You do adopt a white belt.
any white belt that I've adopted has vanished. So maybe I'm not giving them maybe I'm not there forever, home. Like they get there and they're like, huh, okay, this is cool. Then after like a few months, they're like, yeah, fuck this guy. He's just beating my ass the entire time.
Mine stays with me, and I've like sometimes I smother tap him, and some like I don't wrist lock him, but I might throw in
Mm.
like a straight ankle or something here and there, but he still stays.
Well, and I think those are kind of like those are the types of taps where it's like I'm doing this for your own good, but it's not hateful. Whereas a wrist lock, I just think I even the nicest of wrist locks, there's a little bit of hate behind it. I feel like I know when I do it, there's fuck wrist locks.
I did one today, and I did it slowly, so it's like there's not it wasn't a lot of hate because like I could have snapped it. I had gotten the triangle from almost like them turtling.
Mm.
And so when he rolled to the back to he's trying to escape it. The arm was just dangling there. So I just, with my far hand, grabbed it and let him know it was coming. And he just couldn't stop it. So he tapped to the wrist lock.
Dude, I've mentioned it on here before, and I will mention it until the end of time. And I hope he is listening. My
I hope
buddy
he's
Mark,
listening too.
he had me in a triangle. I reached up to tap, and this motherfucker wrist locked me.
Ah,
Like I bring my hand up to kind of come down for the tap, because it was kind of like I'm thinking about tapping. I wasn't committed to the tap, but I felt like, you know what, he's got this. I may as well. I got to tap. I'm not getting out of this. And my hand goes up, and then I feel it get bent, and I was like, yo, what in the ever living fuck is going, dude? I'm not tapping because you're wrist locking me, and I have never been so disappointed in a single human in my life and felt more disrespected. Just so, Mark, if you are listening to this, yeah, man, you hurt my feelings, man. I believed in you. You were supposed to be the one.
Mark,
You're supposed to bring balance to the force, not destroy it.
Mark, if you've seen the Tom Brady roast, I'm just going to be like Kevin Hart every time he came up to to the mic, and just be talking about random things. I'm just going to turn to you and be like, fuck you, Mark. And now you know why. So fuck
I
you, Mark.
rode with I rode with him last week, and I mean, he had me compromised in all types of ways. He had me where he could have wrist locked me, and he didn't. And he told me afterwards, like, I was just fucking with you the entire time. Like, I wasn't gonna wrist lock you at all, but I wanted you to think that it was there. And then it worked because I kept focusing on him not wrist locking me. So I wasn't really trying to escape anything else. I was just worried about the wrist lock. And I don't know, man. Look, fuck those wrist locks. Unless it's me doing it to a white belt, then yeah, that shit is delicious. Fuck them white belts, yeah. Um, so for you, getting out there and consistently training and and really kind of buying into jujitsu, did you have any expectations, entering it, or fully like committing to training? And if you did, how did the actual product compare to what you were expecting once you got out there?
I honestly didn't know what to expect really outside of, learning how to choke somebody. And my whole goal was to eventually become a purple belt. I don't think I ever thought I could get anywhere higher, but I was like, a purple belt's pretty high, so that's cool, man. If I could get to a purple belt eventually in my career of jujitsu, that'll be a huge accomplishment. I feel like I have made where I needed to be. Plus, I didn't want my son to be able to whoop my ass. So the motherfucker is 13 now, and he's taller than me. So,
Ooh,
and I mean, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I'm not short. I'm average American male height. I'm a little over 5'9". I'm not
okay.
6 feet. So, like the memes like say, I'm legit 5'9". And yeah, that kid, like I woke up the other morning when I went to go. He was participating in a Jiu-Jitsu World League like a couple weeks ago. I woke him up to weigh himself because he was like right on the mark the week of, and like, well, you got to weigh less than that in the gi. So I would wake him up in the morning to check his weight, and he stood up next to me, and I'm barefoot because I just got home training. He's barefoot because he just woke up. And I'm like, all of a sudden, my eye level, I'm staring at his fucking mouth, and I'm like, this motherfucker. Man, I had to make that kid lose 5 more pounds because he had a growth spurt the week of the
uh
tournament. But yeah, that boy getting taller than me, or he is taller than me now. So I'm like, nah, I need to be able to make sure he can't whoop my ass. So that's the main goal in training now is to make sure that the boy will not be able to whip my ass. He will have to wait till I'm like 50, 60 years old.
hey, you have motivation there, and there's no stronger motivation than again, establishing dominance in the home.
That's
Because
it, man.
because the day that my kid can, well, there's a couple video games she can beat me in now, and part of me is handling it kind of proud of her, but the other part of me is kind of like, I can't let her think that this is a thing. So, I put her on some Street Fighter, and well, when she was 3, we would play Street Fighter and go back and forth, and just kind of hidden, like there's no real like competition. There's no real like, here, I'm going to beat you, you're going to beat me. I'm just letting her get used to the buttons. So then she started wanting to play, so we play, I beat her, and she never felt defeated. She was just like, okay, whatever. Then one day she started really kind of pushing at it, and little girl, dad and his daughter, she started kind of sensing that defeat. So I was like, okay, I let her win one round. So she beats me, and she started talking shit. And I don't, I can't stand shit talking. Be humble in victory and defeat. So she wins. She talks a little bit of shit. I was like, okay, maybe she's just having like a seizure or something. I don't fucking know what the fuck is wrong with these kids. And she beats me again and really start digging in. I was like, okay, she doesn't know. So the next 3 games, she didn't get a hit at all. I was like, and then she was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I was like, exactly. So Street Fighter's off the table for her, but we had been playing DC Injustice,
Okay,
and that got a little competitive, so good for her. She likes using Harley Quinn, but
of
I
course.
still have to make sure that I stump her into the into the video game ground, just so she understands this is my home, not yours. You are living here because I allow it. And then when I beat her in the game, she understands that, and then she moves on. She goes back and plays fucking Bluey or some bullshit on it on the Switch. So, like, you just got to always establish dominance. Make sure your kids know,
Yeah, I
like,
gotta
I'm
find a
in
new one
charge.
because my daughter be whooping my ass in fucking Mario Kart now. So
So she's getting there. My daughter's getting there in Mario Kart. like we go back and forth, but she's getting the bulk of those wins, and I'm starting to feel uncomfortable because it's like, yo, you're 8. Well, at the time you're 7. You don't even know how to drive. So why are you beating me at this game right now? So we haven't played in a while though. So I'm thinking when she goes to bed, I might just take the Switch upstairs and brush up on my skills, and then invite her to play this weekend. Like, hey, yo, you trying to play some Mario Kart real quick? And then see where like if she beats me, with me getting a little bit of extra reps, then okay,
That's all right.
you
Let's
know,
get the mats out.
yeah, it's like all right, here, put your little fucking gi on. Dad, this doesn't fit me anymore. I don't give a fuck. Put it on. Like, let me see your hand real quick. What's that wrist lock? Thanksgiving would be fucked up if I was just wrist locking family members, like
Shit.
because I got to sit at the kids' table.
I did wrist lock my kid on tape once. I do have that.
You probably earned it. Probably
And
deserved
I
it.
memed that shit.
See, well, that's when it's a problem when you get memed. That's why I don't be putting pictures of myself on the internet because I just don't know. If I turn into a meme. I don't know how I'm gonna handle it because if it's a fucked up meme, I don't know, dude. I might,
Man, I don't know if you like for today because like I talked to Happy Rolling a lot, like, but we were making somehow it came up and I started making fun of we started making fun of Lupe Fiasco, and I don't know if you ever seen, but he has posted videos of himself with a samurai sword, a katana, and a shoyu roll gi and a black belt, like for karate, but it's a shoyu roll gi. So we're always making fun of that shit. And then for some reason, my dumb ass, because what kind of house do you have if you don't have a sword in your house? So
sort.
I I grabbed I grabbed a gi top. Obviously, I have them lying around everywhere. I threw that shit on, went and grabbed my glasses and grabbed my sword, took a picture of myself and made a quick meme. I was like, nobody, no one in the world, Lupe Fiasco. And it's me holding the motherfucking sword with my glasses on and a gi on.
Like,
Man, I hope that doesn't surface online.
yeah, there's sometimes a meme where like I posted something on the Off the Mats Instagram. It's an old meme. It's one that everyone's done it. It's like, hey, your kid's been fighting in school. Oh, cool. How was the pressure? How was their head moving? Stuff like that. I posted it. I don't know how long ago, but for whatever reason, that's the one that took off.
Yeah,
Like it, I don't even know what the count is at right now, but every time I look up, it's getting reshared. Oh, Brendan Shaw reposted it. He didn't credit me,
of course not.
but so he did. He said uh credit Off the Mats podcast, but he didn't tag me or anything. He just wrote, you know, credit Off the Mats podcast. So I was like, okay, well, that's
I mean,
weird,
at
but
least it's kind of in there.
yeah, it's like, I mean, most of his fans can't read, so I just feel
Right.
like it's half-hearted,
So
illiterate
like the only
fucks.
time I ever pay attention to him really is when him and what's his homie? The
Calvin.
yeah, when him and Brian Callen fuck around and like do any kind of grappling. So like someone will send me like the clip or they'll post it and then I'm tuned in because that shit's always hilarious because he's always fucking Brian up and Brian's always trying to do shit. So to me it's fucking funny. But that's like the only time I ever tune into him. Because, yeah, other than that, he's just regurgitating whatever Joe Rogan says or
Yeah.
giving bad fight advice or UFC fighter advice, you know? Not that I'd be any good at telling you who's going to win what fight, because I'll probably be wrong 95% of the time, but I'm not posting it or telling you should bet on it. So,
Of course not. Well, and that's the whole thing. Is like when my neighbors come over, we're watching the fights. I talk all types of shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I talk all types of shit. And but it's like here in the basement, we're talking shit. But I'm not gonna go on the internet and like, hey man, you should place your bets on this guy because of XYZ. Because honestly, anything could happen. Like anything. And you know when you got folks out there like fucking Drake, betting God knows how much money on yo. Like anytime I see Drake bet on anyone, I'm just like, okay, go make the opposite bet.
Yup.
Like, like what I think in the playoffs he bet on the Lions, I think, and I was like, fuck,
I
god
appreciate him
damn,
for that.
I don't. I was like, yo,
He,
you well, like stop, dude. Like, why would you do this?
I
Like,
mean,
go bet on yourself against Kendrick,
I was about to say, he obviously bet on himself with Kendrick.
of course. I don't know. Look, man, when it's all said and done, though, it's like have fun with it all, but also ain't nobody's an expert. I mean, I guess Schaub is more of an expert than most, having done it, having been there. But it's like, look, man,
Having
like I tell my daughter,
collectively
make your own
knocked out
choices.
Crow Cop. Shit.
Yeah, when he knocked out Crow Cop, I was like, oh my god, like this kid, like, well, I liked him on the Ultimate Fighter. Like I like that dude a lot. I was like, okay, I like this dude. Well, and then like the story he tells about Kimbo, thinking he was black. I mean, Kimbo ain't the only one. I thought Shaw was black too. I was like, I mean, he's just super duper light skinned. That's all. It's like,
So I don't know what he is. He got something in him.
yeah, it's like for sure, probably the last of the Mohicans. Like definitely something. I don't know, dude, but when he was telling that story, I was like, oh, wait a minute, you ain't wait, like your great someone ain't. Are you sure? Like like he's not sure. Like he's got to be something. I don't know. We'll find out one day. But either way, what's been your biggest challenge so far on the mat?
Biggest challenge so far on the mats, other than shit. I can't say staying healthy because I'm relatively healthy, other than these injuries. It's just telling myself every morning, because I tell you all the time I train at 5 in the morning, and then when my son's not in baseball season, I train at night too. But it's just telling myself to show up. And because there's days I want to just sleep in, and there's days I don't want to go, or in there's days I don't want to go in the evening. But I just tell myself, hey, even if you ain't got it, you'll at least be a good training partner for somebody. And I try to remind myself that all the time, is like, you got to show up, just like, and a cumulative balance will happen, and eventually you'll continue to keep getting better, even if you feel like you're plateauing or um, not gaining any freaking steam. But eventually, hey, you're you're promoted or whatever else. Because I never feel how good I'm getting, or if I'm getting any better at all. But my coach will say otherwise. Like, because yeah, most of the time I just like, bro, I'm sponsored by Your Jiu-Jitsu Sucks, and it's not me. Like, we're not telling people that your jiu-jitsu sucks. It's kind of like look in the mirror and tell yourself your jiu-jitsu sucks. And literally, I think that about myself all the time. And it's my coach, when he's not making fun of me or whooping my ass, telling me you're fucking good, or you have the best whatever in this gym. And to me, I'm like, nah, man, I fucking suck. So I mean, if someone else believes in you, you got to show up, bro. And if they're gonna put in the time to make you better, you should show fucking up. I hate not, I hate when I show up and I take the time to show up, and all these able bodies that are younger than me, or just don't. So yeah, attendance and lack of consistency. What is the meme? Grinds my gears.
Mm,
So I mean, that's it. That's all it is. The whole just telling myself I need to show up, because I'm like everybody else. I don't want to fucking show up half the time. I just do.
yeah, I think that's an important and a very important part of it all, though, is showing up. Because, like you said, you may not see your game changing, but you going in consistently, you're gaining from it, you're growing from it, and that's the key. Because if you don't show up, are you getting better? Fuck
Fuck
no,
no.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to do that. I in the past had to really push myself to do that. Trying to come back to the mats, and now that I'm comfortably back, it's like anytime there's some shit that comes up on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, I'm like, could this be avoided? Like, I think my daughter, she has her theater production. She's going to be in a SpongeBob the musical play on a Friday night and a Saturday morning. Both times that I would be training, and I'm trying to figure out, is there any way I can catch one of these classes? Any possible way? Like, because I feel like the Friday night might be late enough where I could go to Nogi and then still, make it to, because the theater isn't far from the gym. I think it's like a mile away, maybe 2 miles away. Saturday, I don't think I can get away with it because class is at 11:30, and I think the show is at 12. So
Oh yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way. Um, but yeah, you just got to be present, and I think with some of the younger folks though too, I think one of the things that might exist potentially is that how we were when we were younger, we're invincible.
Oh yeah.
We got all the time in the world, and before you know it, you in your mid 30s, your early 40s, and you got a bad hip. It's like, where the fuck all that time go? Like, I had it. So I don't know, but definitely keep showing up when you compete. You know, like, is there anything like that you do like mentally to prepare?
I thought I would be one of those people that walk around with like the AirPods on or whatever the fuck we call these things, earbuds or whole over the head headphones. But I'm a sit there, talk to myself, or just in my head and pace kind of guy. Like, so when I do compete, I'm just really telling myself, just worry about what you can, or, control the pace, play your game, and treat it like another open mat. And so whenever I actually do step foot on the competition mats, my whole thing is you do open mat all the time, and it's with dudes from all over um, the county, the valley. Um, so you're rolling with motherfuckers that you don't normally roll with every day, all the time. So don't worry about it. Just try to play your game. And so I'm just in my head as I'm pacing back and forth, repeating that to myself. Play your game. It's just another open mat. Don't worry about everybody else around. This was the first time where literally everybody's for the most part watching you. That last one, whereas opposed to when you go to a competition, you think everybody's watching you, but there's fucking 18, 20 other mats open where people are competing. No one's watching you, but the handful of people that went there to see you or your
Hmm.
training partners that aren't on the mats at the moment. So, I mean,
Yeah.
win or lose, you're there for the experience and you're there to learn, honestly, because then you know what you need to work on. And so that's what I tell myself when I do actually step on the competition mats with my lazy ass.
And just picture at the competition walking around, like pacing back and forth near the mat that you're going to be competing on. All right, David, on mat 5, you're just pacing back and forth. Play your game.
Yeah,
But you're like saying
yeah.
it out loud. And the dude who you're going up against first is just look like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
What's his
Like, should I
game?
do that?
Start smacking myself. Yeah, and then like I said, because I'm always in the main class that I train in is our competition class at 5 in the morning. So for the most part, my coach always keeps us prepared because it's honestly the 5 a.m. class Monday through Friday. For me, Monday through Thursday. I have a show Friday morning, but is like being in a competition camp. So I'm pretty much ready all the time. It's just whether or not whatever weight I need to be on, if I need to be on a weight, because I prefer to stay under 180 and then not try to get anywhere higher or lower because that's too much fucking work, man. And I like cookies and obviously I like hamburgers and I ain't trying to give that up.
That just actually reminded me that I fucking forgot to get cookies when I was at the mall today. Ah, I'm disappointed in myself. The what Mrs. Fields fucking cookie stand. And I was like, I'm gonna go get some chocolate chip cookies, and we ended up rushing out. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get some cookies at McDonald's. And then, my guys that got their lunch, and then we left. And now I just got reminded again, I didn't get my cookies. So that's fucked. Sorry about that interruption, but I'm just look, man, I'm a fat kid and I like cookies. And you reminded me that I'm not doing justice to myself by not eating these cookies.
I
Um,
mean, you upset me because we no longer have a Mrs. Fields in Stockton, California, and that was my go-to. Now I got to settle for Crumble, which is more expensive, and they don't like. I do eat Crumble, and I do like Crumble, but Mrs. Fields actually has the consistency that I prefer because you got that fresh baked at home kind of a thing, and it's got a
mhm.
little bit of a crunch, but then it's still chewy on the inside.
Oh
Where
yeah.
like Crumble is just chewy or doughy.
Dude, I'm about to actually text my wife right now and ask her if she could bake some cookies. You like usually she'll like, make the dough, pre-make the dough and everything and like freeze some and like kind of have it on hand. I'm about to see if she has some because just goddamn, dude, that the reminder of like you gotta have that little bit of crisp on the edge, like, but in the middle. Hold on one sec. I gotta let me ask her. Do we have cookies to bake? To not bag to bake. Bake. There we go. Let me see what she says, dude. I hope she says yes because if she says yes, my fat ass is on that shit. All right. All right. I'll await her response. Um, with your pet white belt, um, is there
Shout out
any
Spazito.
is there any like what kind of sage advice do you pass down to him besides wrist locking him?
Well, like I said, I don't risk like the kid. I say kid because he's younger than me and he looks young, but he's not really that young. He's in his 30s. But me and my coach, we tell him all the time, dude, you just got to stay patient and just keep showing up. It's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna be hard, and you're gonna keep getting your ass beat. It's just showing up after you get your ass beat. Because no one in that gym taps more than me. I'm fucking for certain that there's nobody in our academy that gets submitted more than me. Because I roll the most with my professor, and I roll the most with this son. And they're both black belts, and they both beat the shit out of me. Even when they're going easy, they're beating the shit out of me, and I'm tapping multiple times around. Whether it's a couple minutes of positional, whether it's 5 or 10 minute rounds, I'm the one rolling with them and I'm the one getting my ass beat. So I know for certain in the last 4 or 5 years, nobody has been tapped, submitted, probably wrist locked more than myself.
Ugh.
Yeah, my coach will have a really strong position, submission on me, could finish whatever, and he'll just see my arm dangling like, oh no, that's a wrist lock. But it's cool because nobody else in that gym has wrist locked me outside of my coach and his son. So everybody else, don't be trying to wrist lock me now after listening to this shit.
Of course
But
they are. You know they are.
but it's only usually it's just my coach and my coach Kalani and his son Cyrus who wrist lock me on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, show the fuck up. And when you tell me you're gonna show up, motherfucker, show up. Don't be like, oh, I had too much to drink. I'm trying to get my life right and I was coping and no, motherfucker, I drink sometimes. I got shit outside of the gym. I still show up at 5 in the fucking morning. Granted, I live 5-10 minutes away from the gym, but still, show your ass up. I am proud of him though, because he comes from almost an hour away.
Oof.
Yes, like he comes from far away because I mean he does commute to work, so we're kind of like a middle point, but still, you could still train somewhere close to home after you get home from work or before, and not get up extra early to show up at a gym an hour away, um, to get your ass beat and then shower and then go to work. So I do. That's kudos to him. I do respect that out of him. I just wish, he'd show up the 4 times in the morning as opposed to the two to 3 times or whatever.
That's fair. I mean, it speaks volumes, though. To you have options closer, but you make the choice though to go to this spot just because most people are going to take the easy route. Most people are going to take like, I might go here around the corner where the train is fine, but you know when you expand out a little bit more, you fan out just a touch, you might find something with a little bit more of what you're looking for. And it's good that you know he's kind of like, okay, well, look, I like what they got going on here, because not every gym is for everyone. you know you might have some cats show up to your gym like, yo, that coach is a little aggressive, yo, like, yo, why you like, yo, I thought he liked that dude over there. He's sitting on him and bending his wrist wrong. Like, he could have
That's
did
me.
anything. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say any specific names, but you know. But I mean, it's like, some folks look at, one coach say, oh well, that coach, he talks a certain way, I don't like it. Or you got, others that look at a coach like, well, this coach does, this. And there's some some cats that are like, yo, that coach talks his way. He's shooting it to you straight.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. So good.
And honestly, if he doesn't speak to you like that and he's nice to you, that means he don't care about you. Like
Yeah.
like yeah, if he's talking shit to you, it's because he expects the best out of you and he wants the best out of you. And he knows and sees what potentially you can be. So if you're not there putting in the work, he's gonna give you shit every bit of the way. And I get shit about it all the time, like because he knows when I'm not putting in the effort, and he also knows um, my peaks and valleys. So,
Yeah.
and the peaks are few and far in between because I'm very very mellow.
And I'm sure that's why he kicks it like, all right, look, motherfucker, quit being so mellow. I need you to turn that shit up just a touch. It's like,
Oh yeah, he
eh,
he
oh,
definitely
but
likes when I'm mad. He likes to see when someone pisses me off because it doesn't happen often. So he likes when that happens.
I bet he's, he probably puts a bounty on you every so often. Like, yo, you do this. If you get him, I got you on lunch. And someone just comes in the next day ready for you, like, hey, yeah, Dave, come on over here, man. I got you. It's like, oh my god, he's probably watching that shit too, knowing that person's gonna get fucking murked. Like, they come over there, fuck with you, you just destroy him. It's like, ugh.
But see,
like,
I'm so laid back that I get yelled at because like that motherfucker shouldn't be tapping you ever, and I'm like, fuck.
yeah. One of my coaches. It's funny because he'll see me just like getting just manhandled, and then and he knows, like, look, I know you're better than this. And was like, all right, 1 minute left. And as soon as it says 1 minute left, I'm like, all right, it's just a whole different gear. It's like calling Marty McFly chicken.
Ha,
It's like,
yellow.
what's the matter, McFly? Yeah, yella. Um, but yeah, um, I, I, I guess last question here before we end up wrapping up, is because it's dinner time. My wife did say we do not have cookies because we just baked the cake. My daughter's birthday was yesterday, so it's like, we have
Oh
cake.
man, happy
And I was
birthday.
like,
That's why he.
thank you.
That's why she's now 8. It used to be 7.
Yeah, yeah, she was 7. Now I gotta like, yo, like, you 8 years old. You can't be doing it. Like, anytime she does some shit, and I'm like, you 8 years old. Like, Dad, I've been 8 for a day. Like, yeah, well, stop
Or
doing that.
they'll be like, my daughter used to be like, remember when I used to be 5? She's like 10 now, but when she'd be like 6 years old, be like, remember when I used to be 5? Bro, that was last month.
My daughter for sure used to do that. She was like, "Hey, remember when I was this age?" It was like last week, like a month ago, or like the screensaver on the Fire Stick. It's a slideshow of her through the years. So she'll look at a picture like, "Oh my god!" Like, I remember that. That was so long ago. Like, baby, that was like in December. it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I guess relative to kids thinking though it is, but
Yeah, relative, like, 'cause in comparison, 3 months in their age compared to 3 months in our advanced ages is a lot different. It's a
yeah,
drop
three
in the
months
water.
3 months to me is like, damn, dude. Like, fuck. 3 months for
I
her
thought
is
I
like,
said
God,
that
hurry
last week.
up. Yeah. And it's like, wait, we're in May right now, which is fucking bonkers to me. I was like, God damn, really?
I know,
Like
man. It was
already?
just Black History Month. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like my daughter's like, oh, finally it's May. It's like, finally? Like, what the fuck? Like, how long you been waiting? Like a whole year. Like, okay, relax. Um, so yes, there are no cookies here to bake, but we do have a cake, and I guess I'm okay with that. I'm not sure, like, because I got the cookies on my mind. So, but we do have cake, and it's fine, and we'll probably bake some cookies this weekend because I'm fat. But before we roll out of here, um, last quick question. This one's a kind of the big grand finale question. Um, how you feeling about X Men '97 right now?
So I think I'm like 2 weeks behind,
Doesn't matter. I still need feelings.
but so what was the last thing I saw? Because I'm trying to like blank it out just because I have the idea that we may do that conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I do love what I'm seeing. I'm just I don't know how it's gonna end because I feel like it's been curveball after curveball. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still waiting for it to be some kind of a thing where like none of this shit happened.
dude. If they pull one of those on us, I'll be done. Like I've already been kind of like out of the comic book game for a while because this shit's just been all over the place. But if they did that with the animated, I would probably this basement disassembled. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm done. Fuck all them X-Men, and that would be one, two, three, four, fucking three detolfs and two shelves. Like I just like I'm done. I'm done. What? But the plus side is I'd have room for new figures now. So there is that. But
And those would probably pay for those other figures.
that is true because like there's some hitters in that group. I was going through YouTube the other night and stumbled upon like comic book investments books from the 90s, and that have some value now. And I'm looking at these motherfuckers. I was like, oh my Lord. So the last 2 nights I've been down here in the basement digging through my comics, and I have two stacks here on the table. Um, stacks about 5 inches high. Both stacks, and then I have two cases under the bed of just like books of like crazy value. Now I'm like, oh my god, like I never knew, like, cause shit from the '90s, shit, like,
Time to get them graded.
oh yeah, well, and that's what I was telling my wife last time. I was like, well, look, I see these books here graded are going for this much. Not that I'm gonna sell anything. I was like, but I have them raw right now. And raw, like go to eBay, it's like, okay, they're about $90, $160. Okay, cool. But if I get it graded, now we're up to $300. So um but yeah, if X-Men did anything goofy with this animated, I'd probably just I think I would check out just altogether because I take that shit the most personal is those fucking mutants.
Until Deadpool and Wolverine drop, and you're like, oh, that was fucking awesome.
Oh no, like when that drops, I'm for sure gonna be in theater for that. I'm positive. I'm I gotta arrange the times now for that. I gotta figure my life out. I yeah, I think we got enough time where I could tell my wife to take that night off. Like, hey, don't even go into work. I'm going. I'm hitting the theater. I might take the day off just to go see it at like at lunchtime. So, yeah, I got to figure it out though. But once that hits, I'll be in a good place. But right now, X-Men 97, I think, has me in a place where watching that series back in the 90s, there's so much that you always see in the comics that you're like, man, I wish they would do that on the animated. And they never did. And now they are. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like there's shit that's happening that I just never thought could ever be done in animation. Just I don't know why. I think there's just this thought always of like, well, they're not going to touch that because the story will complicate things down the road later on. And nope, they're like, nope, just lean into it. Let's go. I think they said season 2 has already been written. So and they just approved this a third season. So I'm like, you know what? Keep that shit rolling because I'm here for it. All of
Uh,
it.
I already know when we have this conversation, I'm gonna bring up the Wolverine versus um, animated as well,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the whole Deadpool Wolverine interaction there too with the Hulk. Oh, it was Hulk versus. That's what it was. Hulk versus the
Yeah. Yep.
Wolverine one. I'm gonna bring that up.
Yeah. I think. Do I still have that? I feel like that's somewhere upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
July
gotta.
26th. We got plenty of time to plan for that release date.
Oh, of course. Yeah. July 20. So yeah, I was like, when is the date? I know it's at the end of a month. I can't remember if it was June or July. July 26th. I'm on it. Fuck, I don't even know. I might have to contact Nerd Rage Radio. We might be able to make this an event again. We haven't done an event watching in years, so I don't know. I'll be recording with them next Thursday, or well, I guess by the time this comes out this Thursday, I'll be recording with Nerd Rage. I'm gonna ask them like, "Yo, we doing anything for Deadpool? Like, what's the feelings?" So, but yeah, all the same.
It's gonna
Like,
be the move, brother.
yep, yep. Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely down for X-Men 97 Nerdcast episode. Because the dude that I normally record with, Maryland Phil, I brought it up to him, and he was like, it was the way that he said it that kind of triggered me. He was just, it was almost like, I'm not doing that. Like, bitch. He was like, well, there's so many other things to do before that, like Echo. I was like, what? Bitch, get the fuck out of my face. I'm not doing Echo. Like, I liked Echo. I thought it was a fine show. Not fine enough for me to watch it again and say, hey, let's take notes and talk about it. No, I'm not doing that. But X-Men, like, as soon as you mentioned it, it was like, fuck yeah. Like, let's do this. Like, let's make this happen. And I don't know. I'm pumped about it. I think the show is fucking going great. Even the episode that I thought was like maybe their weakest episode was still pretty fucking strong. So I'm here for every bit of this thing.
Was that Jubilee and Mojo World? Because yeah,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
then it was still good.
yeah. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, God damn it, I'm not here for this. But then I watched. I was like, it was decent. It was all right. It was fun. Like, you know, like I that's one that I'm not interested in going back and really like psychoanalyzing it, but it was still a fun episode, and everything else that they've done has just been it's almost like one week after the other they hit you with everything. Like that final season of Breaking Bad. Like they didn't have a choice. They had to force everything out in those 8 episodes. So um uh so yeah. Um Sorry, I think I got a text from my boss. I was like, wait, what are we talking about? Breaking Bad, boss, trouble. Oh shit. Um, no, I was off yesterday, so I got to kind of cover bases. Like, hey, so look, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of them. But before we get out of here, David, let me thank you for doing this. Again,
Hey man,
uh,
I'll do this as often as you want, brother.
and hey, don't tell me that. I'll be like, hey, we got our own show now. Motherfuckers like, yo, I'm tired of this dude, and he got no more guests. Like, fuck y'all. We're talking about all the fun things that we talk about in the DMs that y'all don't get to see. Like,
Exactly, bro.
all right. But no. Again, thank you for making the time for doing this, and I appreciate it. And also, uh, I've been wanting to have you on this damn show for the longest time. So like finally getting you on here is like, all right, check that off the bucket list. All right, we're good. Um, Before we get out of here, you got any shout outs or mentions that you want to drop?
Shout out to mentions. First, I want to shout out the Academy, Aries BJJ Stockton, where I train. Sunday open mats. Every Sunday, 8 a.m. Sunday service. Come get some good training in. Best training in California, at least the Central Valley in California. We got a big state, and everybody trying to leave California as it is. But also shout out my professor at Buffalo underscore Black BJJ. Um, One of the people I confide in, helps me out with a lot of different things. That's my brother. Even if he beats my ass every day, love that man. And I mean, honestly, if it weren't for him, there's no such thing as a Hokage underscore or dot BJJ page. It's not happening. The memes aren't happening. So it's really because of him and, the wife, because she's the one that made me do jiu-jitsu in the first place. Also, shout out my sponsor, Your Jiu-Jitsu Sucks, YJJS brand. Um, Gi drops happen randomly, no gi kits, but honestly, my favorite shit to wear. And I don't want to shit on any other brands, but so I won't. But I mean, I have been given some other brands that are pretty high profile, and they don't compare, in my opinion. And one of them is one of the most hot in upcoming, especially in Nogi, all over the place lately. And I'm sure if you've seen any of my posts prior, you would have seen me in a rash guard in there because I sneak my picture in most of my memes. And yeah, shout out to my boy. I believe it's Backwoods BJJ Camp or Backwoods Retreat BJJ. I always fuck it up whenever I try to search him up. My boy Robert, who runs that thing out of California, tries to make it cheap for all the homies to do a retreat for jujitsu. Gets dope ass black belts to show up there and teach, and it's out in a beautiful fucking cabin where there's water, there's fucking meats to eat, and good training. So shout out to him. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Shout out to my boy over here, Dante, for bringing me on here. We call him Jake for fun, but we gonna go with Dante. But because I always tell him no, I don't want to do it, bro. Because I don't like my voice as it is. I wish I had a deeper voice. I don't. So when I verbal tap, it sounds like a bitch. As it is, verbal tapping is kind of a bitch thing anyway. But because of my voice, it's even worse. So yeah, we try not to verbal tap, but coach gets me with some nasty shit sometimes, so it happens. But yeah, shout out to everybody that follows me, man. I appreciate that because sometimes I make some stupid ass things and y'all share it and like it. But I mean, I really love that J. Cole one I did yesterday.
I have it saved in my queue.
Yeah,
Um,
Instagram kind of effed me on that one. I mean, it's doing okay, but I know it could have done way better. But I ain't paying for no sponsored posts. I'm not saying that there's any memers that buy followers or do things like that, but I'm never gonna do that.
it defeats the purpose of it.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
if you can't reach your base, on your own, then what are we really doing here?
facts.
But but yeah, like I got you in the queue. I actually sometimes it gets tough for me to post because as I'm scrolling through my saved posts, there's so many of yours in there that is just like fuck. All right, let me go way back. Let me go as far back as I can because I have a folder of just memes and I have a folder of comic book themed memes. And I go in there and that's the bulk of those are yours.
I mean, I have a, I have a, what is it, niche? That's me, brother. If it's not, it's either comic or Simpsons or SpongeBob or anime. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I put out 3, 4 a day. So
That's how I recognize when I'm like just kind of scrolling through it out, haven't seen anything. It's like if I see Simpsons, chances are it's you. If I see a comic book thing, high likelihood it's you. If it's SpongeBob, it's like, yeah, that's you. It's like, okay, let me get away from these. And every so often you'll shock me with something else. I'm like, fuck. All right, cool. Because I don't want like it'll get to a point where I'm like posting so much. It's like, all right, like I don't want to post 3 consecutive, posts of yours, and then people like, yo, well, you may as well just fucking just take over. Like what are you doing? Like, so I appreciate the work that you're doing out there in the meme community and keeping us laughing and just uniting everybody because laughter unites folks, for better or for worse. Y'all might be laughing at somebody because they fell down, but hey, we all laughing together. It's fucked up to,
man,
laugh at them though.
I just try to make it relatable because honestly, as a white belt, that's how I learned not to do things. It was
True.
seeing like because jutsu or happy rollings memes, no jutsu's memes. I'm like, okay, don't do that. Don't be spazzy. Learn to fucking breathe. All these things. I'm like,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's how I learned. Don't fucking quit at blue belt.
That's the one that gets us all. Because I was there for a minute. I was like, all right, I think I'm done. I got it. My wife's like, no, you're not quitting. I was like, oh, so she let me know.
And she pays for
Um,
the chill. Got it.
so that's how we do in this household. And as always, to the listeners, thank you. If y'all got any questions, concerns, criticisms, feel free to reach out. You can find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram or Off the Mats Podcast, also on Instagram. You can email. I think it's off the mats 2020 at Gmail, probably. Yeah. So I've got an email here or there. So yeah, shoot me an email. I'll respond to those too. Only for like thing like, hey, I want to be on the show or here's some ideas. Don't just email me like, hey, oh, what's up? Because I'm not answering that. That's not okay. But I still love
Send me
y'all.
some feed pics, man. No.
I'm not even gonna lie, yo. I got the nicest feet at my gym, son. I be taking care of my joints. Like I don't fuck around because that was my big thing about doing jiu-jitsu. If I go in there, I don't want to have I don't want to have the worst looking feet. So
Now,
I
when you
take care
start
of my
getting
feet.
requests, and because you didn't edit this part out, now you know why.
Yeah. You start hearing like in the DMs like, yo, what's up on them feet? Like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, but I guess on the plus side, I was like, oh, y'all listen. So thanks.
Here you
Just don't
go.
be
No.
fucking weird. Yeah, yeah. It was like, all right. I mean, since you made it this far in the show, I guess I owe you two, at least. If you leave me a review, you get a third. So, you know, yeah, go leave some reviews. I'll send you feet pics. Oh, that's
Let
for
me
sure gonna not get me reviews now. Thanks.
let me
Um,
see if BJJ Wiki fucking OnlyFans link. I'ma die.
son, hey, I got bills, and I may be making a move to Mayfex figures. So, well, those just ain't cheap. So,
No, they aren't.
I'm just letting you know. If you see me posting Mayfex figures, you know what had already happened. Just hit the link in the bio. Um, I want to give a big shout out to my crew over there at Nerve Age Radio, Bobby, Chris, Joe, Maryland Phil, Ricky Ticky, all you fellas. Thank you. If it wasn't for Nerve Age Radio, I wouldn't be making podcasts. So I appreciate the fuck out of everybody over there. And I'll be popping up on the show very, very soon over there as well. And we got Skullsters coming up. So who knows? I might drunkenly show up on another one of those, Patreon shows that they might put out from Skullsters. So but all the love in the world to Nerd Rage Radio. Also, shout out to So You Like Horror. That's my other podcast with scary movies and stuff. I'm not sure what's going on over there as far as what episodes coming out, but go check it out. We just did the Older Gods movie review. I should be sitting down with David A. Roberts to talk about that movie. That's the director. But if you listen to the actual review episode, we gave it a very good review, but we were talking about some wild shit in between. So he might be like, I don't want to fucking talk to this guy now. He fucking likes Christina Aguilera too much. And so what? She cute and she could sing. So
Hey
fuck
man,
you.
I in our youth, man, I replayed that
Yeah.
"Come On Over" video a lot.
Oh
Just
my
like
God. Yeah. That's dude. Like, look, man. like my only request, like if you know shit got out of hand and I can only listen to one song while being tortured, I want to hear that Mulan song that Christina Aguilera sings. Like
I
you
don't know that you're talking about Reflections.
know, look, man, it's comforting. um, but yeah, go listen to So You Like Horror. All the words separated by underscores. If you want to follow me on Instagram over there as well, thank you for that. And last but not least, let me give a shout out here to my guest, Mr. David Hove. Uh, thank you for doing this, and looking forward to having you back on, whether it be for the Nerdcast or just another follow up here, and talk some jiu-jitsu. But as always, folks out there, I appreciate you. We can't do this show without you, and well, I could because y'all ain't here, but y'all be listening, so thank you for that. But y'all know the drill. You guys keep listening, and we're gonna definitely keep making these shows. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.